Hey, I am live. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Month. I'm back for week 2 of talking to you about how to get your wellness together because it's National Wellness Month and I believe in our well-being, in our ability to flow and flourish and managing our capacity. I wanted to come back on here for week 2 to talk to you about how to really get your wellness together, but through time management. So I'm going to be sharing again a quick little presentation that'll just help you. So if you are on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to chime in the comments. Let me know, where you're from. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Nicole Roan and I am your capacity coach. And I help women to really create balance between their personal and professional lives so that they can have sustainable success, right? Not a one-time success, a two-time success, but literally sustainably in both personal and professional life. And so I know the benefits of being able to manage my time. I know how it impacts my wellness and how it has helped my clients with their wellness. And so I'm sharing that with you today. All right. So we are going to jump on in. So as I mentioned, we're talking about how wellness is equivalent to time management. And I'm sure that everybody watching, right, we could all be a little bit better at time management. So know first and foremost that this is not about perfection. This is not about checking off a to-do list. This is about paying attention to where you're putting your time, your energy, and your resources, which is what capacity is all about. Excuse me. So let's see what we're talking about. Gonna go over number 1, the benefits of time management, right? Like, how does it help you? Because I believe when you understand the benefits, that it helps you to set the intention and to follow through and make the plans and do the things that you need to do to be in alignment with your goals, your priorities, your values, all of those things. Next, we're going to talk about recognizing your real capacity, because I have found that many of us think we got a whole lot of capacity, but we don't. We really don't, because we have so many different things on our plates. We're saying yes to everything, and it ends up taking up our mental capacity, emotional capacity, and then even our time. So we're going to look at how do we recognize what our real capacity is. And then I'm going to talk to you about essential versus important. And I know sometimes these words are used interchangeably, but to me, they are very different. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to determine what's essential versus important. And then we're going to talk about how to actually map this out. And last but not least, I'm going to give you some tips on how to manage overwhelm so that you can flow and you can flourish. And I'm here to help you along the way. So first and foremost, let's talk about some of these benefits. Now, if you were here last week, then you will know that I did some of the benefits of rest, and you will probably see some of those same benefits listed right here. Time management absolutely is beneficial for you and equivalent to your wellness because it helps you to reduce burnout, right? When you are doing all the things all the time, you are eventually going to be burnt out. That increases your ability to get sick, to, be resilient, all of those things. So when we manage our time, it reduces the likelihood that we are going to face that burnout. It also increases your energy. I know for me, when I am really using my time management, the mental energy and clarity that I have on what my priorities are and where I'm spending my time is through the roof, because I'm not stressing thinking about, oh, I got to do this. Oh, but I forgot to do that. And I need to do that. It's really tough when you are going and flying by the seat of your pants. And so time management and the things that I'm talking about today are actually going to help you to increase that energy that you need so you can show up and do what you need to do at work, do what you need to do for yourself, show up and be the kind of mom that you want to be, the kind of friend that you want to be, the kind of leader in all of these different spaces. So another benefit is that when you use time management, it reduces stress for the same reason, because you're not having to spend the mental energy thinking about what it is that you need to do. And it also gives you the ability to improve your relationships. Now, think about this. I know I've shared with you all that I have 10 siblings. I'm the second oldest, right? So I tell my big brother that makes me number one in command because I'm the first girl. But between that, and wanting to make sure that I'm spending time with my children, with my husband, with my friends, networking, running my business, all of these different things. That's about relationships and genuine relationships, right? You don't just show up, once every 6 months. That's not how relationships work. So with using time management, I've been able to really plan how I'm spending time, who I'm spending time with, and that allows me to feel good about the relationships that I'm nurturing. And last but not least, when you are using time management, you are going to boost and increase your productivity because you'll have the time and the energy to focus on the things that you might have on that to-do list. And it gives you the stamina to really go through and get the things done that you need to. So, enough about those benefits. Let's talk about what your real capacity looks like. So, as you can see here, and as I mentioned in everything that I talk about, there are these different areas of flow, right? And oftentimes we're being pulled in different directions based on these different areas of flow. And so I want to use this to really help you get a visual of what this looks like. So for me, this is about understanding where I'm spending time on self-care, how much time I'm spending with my family, what am I spending, my time, or how much of my time am I spending working, how much time am I spending, practicing my faith. And for most of us, we spend at least, and I will say it again, at least 50% of our time at work, whether that's at work in corporate or within our businesses as entrepreneurs. And so we can get caught in being so focused on growing our career and growing our business that sometimes our self-care gets pushed to the back burner. Sometimes our friends and our family get pushed to the back burner. I know that I've been that one, right? To where I've been so busy and so focused on making it happen and, getting the coins that I've neglected myself and the people around me. And so with this, I want you to understand that out of, excuse me, a week, in a typical week, after you take out sleep, right? I calculate about 7 hours for sleep. That's an average. You have about 119 different hours left, 119 hours a week that you have available to you. So how are you spending that time? Are you spending it mostly at work? Are you spending it mostly on social media? Are you spending it mostly, doing things that are not in alignment with your goals and with your values? So this is about understanding and recognizing that in any given week, you have 119 hours after you get sleep to do what it is that you need to do. And being able to manage that means managing your time. Okay. One of the ways that has been helpful for me and the people that I work with is to really start to look at what's essential versus important. And I mentioned earlier that I know sometimes these two words are interchangeable or can be used interchangeably. But I want us to remember that just because something is important does not make it essential, right? And I think that being in the pandemic, that showed us that. Like think about the essential workers for a second. Essential, right? They were absolutely necessary. They were required for the world to continue to function. I want you to think about that when you're figuring out how are you going to map out your 119 hours, right? What is absolutely necessary? Because most times we're putting everything in the essential category, but that's not the case. So one good example of this as well is sleep, right? To me, sleep is essential. It's not just important because if I don't have no sleep, I'm going to be groggy. I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to be able to function clearly, right? All the coffee in the world can't replace you getting sleep. So making sure that you are taken care of and making room for the things that are essential is going to really benefit you and help you to manage your time. Part of this is understanding that what this looks like for you is going to be different from somebody else. So giving yourself that permission to determine what's essential and in this season, because while there are some core things that are going to always remain essential to me, right? My faith, my family, my self-care. In certain seasons, certain things aren't essential. Like right now in these next couple of weeks, to me, and don't laugh at me, but it's essential that I get to the beach. I need to get to the beach before the weather turns here in Chicago. That is essential to me, right? It's required for me to be able to function going into this next winter season, right? At the same time, right now, essentially, I'm preparing for my kids to go back to school. I'm preparing for a book launch. There are things that are essential and important. But for me, I have to really sit down and give myself permission to put them in those two categories. So as you are figuring out how to manage your time, I want you to really look at what's essential and what's important to you. Because again, important means that it does have significance, but it's not necessarily required for your function. And I was joking about the beach being essential. It's really, really important to me, right? But it's not essential for me moving forward. All right. So let's talk about how do we map this out? One of the things that I do is a productivity power hour. And I got this from my very own, how should I picture her? She's my sister friend. She's my accountability partner. She's a lot of different things. It's Latika Vines, who is the boss mom coach of Visionary Initiatives. And she invited me into one of these and they changed my life. And so now I've been able to adapt this to utilize it for myself, for my clients, because it's about taking the time to really think about and write out, right? Getting it out of your head on what it is that you need to do. It's about taking the time to write it out based on, for me, the different categories or different roles that I play. So as a wife, as a mom, as a business owner, as a contracted employee, all of those different things, and getting out of my thoughts and out of my heads and onto paper what it is that I need to do. And then sorting through that and understanding and prioritizing what's essential versus important in those categories. Once you've done that, then you need to make sure that you are adding it to your calendar. So going back to those 119 hours that you have per week, when you start to do that, you're going to see one of two things. One, that either you waste a lot of time, you think that you're being really productive, but you're really just being busy. Number two, that you don't have the amount of time or capacity as you thought based on your calendar. It's something about putting it in your calendar that is a game changer. And so I want you to map out both your week and your weekend as you're thinking about managing your time. If you find yourself, saying, thinking, or feeling like I don't have time for X, Y, and Z, then I challenge you to do this. Map out your week and your weekend and add it to your calendar. Once you've done that, then you need to communicate with the people around you, right? Whether that's at work, at home, the people that are really going to be impacted by how you are managing your time, you got to communicate that to them. And if you see, as you are putting these things in your calendar, that some of those things that are in the essential category, you really don't have the capacity or the time to do, I'm going to ask you to ask for help and to delegate. And I'll be talking about that in a separate little scenario. But yeah, delegation is going to help you to be able to do that and carry out those essential things that you have on your list. And last but not least, get you an accountability partner, because for me, that's also been a game changer. Knowing that someone else outside of myself is holding me accountable for what I said I wanted to do, what I said I was going to be working on. That helps me to stay on task to get those things done, because at the end of the week, month, or year, and really at the end of every day, you are the one that has to look in the mirror and feel how you feel about what you were able to accomplish or not accomplish. And if you want to stop going in circles, if you want to be able to have the time to spend time with family, to work on your business, to take care of yourself, then it's about managing your time in a way that allows you to do that. So let's talk quickly about just a couple of ways to help you manage the overwhelm that comes up, because I know that even from doing this activity, it can be overwhelming because you finally see everything like, oh my God, I got all these different things to do. Yeah, you do, but it's okay. It's okay. As you categorize them and prioritize them based on what's essential versus important, that's going to help to alleviate some of that pressure. Some of the other things that can help is number one, practicing mindfulness, right? Whether that's you just sitting, being still, and listening to yourself breathe, because sometimes that's all you can do because you have so many thoughts that are racing through your head. Or if it's being intentional with meditation or with yoga, whatever mindfulness looks like for you, practicing that throughout the week, even as soon as you've written all those different things down so you can gather yourself and think clearly, is going to help you. Number two, I'm going to tell you to stop multitasking. And I know that's probably, not what we've all been taught. But realistically, you can't do 15 things at the same time and do them well. So stop multitasking. Pick 2 or 3 things that you're going to focus on and then focus on one at a time. Block out that time to focus so that you don't feel like you're having to take off, a mom hat and then a business owner hat and then a contractor hat. Like, it's a lot to do all of that. Third is, as you're going through the week, give yourself permission to really review and rethink your priorities, because things change from day to day, week to week, sometimes hour to hour. And I know right now, like I mentioned, we're getting ready in our household for school to start next week. So I am shifting my priorities and my capacity is shifting. So I have to be able to pause and say, okay, what's essential right now? What's important? What can wait till next week or the following week, right? So giving yourself time to do that. And then last but not least, going to the source, whatever source may be for you, asking for the strength, the guidance, the clarity to help you be able to focus, to order your steps, to really help you eliminate distractions, all of those things. Because I know for myself, and if this is you too, say something in the comments, right? Hey, Lanisha, I see you, ma'am. I can get distracted easily, very easily. Have you seen, what is it, Up? I know most of y'all have seen Up. If you have a kid, a niece, a nephew, something, you've seen Up. I'm like squirrel, right? Every little thing. And so I pray frequently to remove distractions, to give me the energy to focus and to be able to be in the moment and take care of what I need to get through in order to not be overwhelmed. So I would encourage you that as you are managing your time, go to the source. Go to the source to get renewed, to get replenished, and to help you carry out what you need to for the week. So that is really all I have for you this week. If you do have questions, make sure that you drop them in the chat. And of course, if this is something that you need help with, I invite you to either take the capacity calculator quiz or to come over and find me wherever you're viewing me at. I believe I'm live on Facebook and on YouTube, but just send me a message. If this is something that you need help with, I love to help you get your priorities together to really manage your capacity in a way that's going to allow you to show up and create sustainable success. I am here for it all. Next week, I'll be back again for week 3 of this series. So make sure that you continue to come back. I hope that this is helpful for you, and I pray that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Talk to you soon.